So, very good morning to everybody. I hope all of you can see and hear me clearly. We meet again for another session, and today I thought for a change let's try some questions. So far all of you know that we have been taking up passages from different areas, different genres, different sources, and we have been exposing ourselves to different styles of writing, and I can also sense that many of you have slowly started developing that particular knack of understanding what the author wants to say rather than simply looking at the surface, right? So it's time to look at some passages which I have taken from ZAT 2010, right? Will be not very long passages, short ones, but they will test your understanding to the hilt. They will actually require understanding to a great extent. After all, there's nothing to worry because understanding is what we have been trying to practice for the last more than, I think it has been around 2 months, right? So things would have improved, I know very clearly. So let's try today. We will take a look at how do we solve passages. And by the way, solving passages is a result of two things. Ek to understanding, reading, right? Definitely something which we have been practicing for the past 2 months. One thing is that. Second thing is you need to be very good in test taking strategies also. What do I mean by test taking strategies? You need to eliminate the wrong options. You need to spot, acha, is option mein which word makes it wrong. You need to spot that, right? And you need to interpret the options very clearly, or very, in a very positive, not positive, but in a clear manner, right? So that is what we will try to take up today, right? So I hope everybody can see and hear me clearly. So before we begin with anything, let me quickly show you the the YouTube schedule of Gradeup. All of you know that we take at least 4 sessions a day. These are invaluable sessions. These are sessions which will definitely add to your preparation. If you notice, basics जो है सारे यही almost cover हो ही रहा है. So that is what we need to keep track of, right? And all of you also know that there is a new course, Maharashtra CET crash course, and you can access this course if you subscribe to Gradeup. Super, right? So crash course, basically it's a crash course because it is something which is designed to help you at short notice, in the sense that the exam is not very far off. So it's almost like the last mile kind of an approach where you focus more on strategies, focus more on the last minute knowledge that you can pick up on the way. So that is what we will actually focus on, right? And a very good morning to everybody. I hope all of you can see and hear me clearly. This is the first slide. Before I take up the questions, let me show you 3 ही slides है, ठीक है? And by the way, there are no very difficult words here, and these are 2 questions. Then there's another slide and 2 more questions. So in short, it's like 2 passages which I've taken from ZAT 2010. As you can see, it is from ZAT 2010. By the way, if you want, you can also read the questions first. Exam जब हम करेंगे, when you actually try it in the exam, question पहले देखना चाहिए. Question, for example, what does the question say? Consider the following examples. Now, at this point, ये example और ये answer options पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. As per the passage, the correct statement related to the above examples would be, which means you have to find out something which gels or not. Notice मैंने यहाँ अभी ये जो अभी at this stage मैंने इधर कुछ नहीं पढ़ा, इधर कुछ नहीं पढ़ा. I hope all of you notice this. मैंने इसलिए नहीं पढ़ा because if I read these options now, I will only get confused. At this point, my aim is to simply try to find out question का sense क्या है. It's about finding out what is correct. Good, right? Next, which of the following inferences would be against the ideas in the passage? Like critical reasoning, something which would be against the opposite of the ideas in the passage. Now, ये options अभी मैं नहीं पढ़ूंगा. I will simply look at question क्या है, ठीक है? Next is another passage. So there are 2 questions. Keeping this in mind, start reading the passage. I will give you enough time. And by the way, you can also ask if you want. And by the way, कुछ words तो मैंने highlight भी किया हुआ है already. Right? So let's see. So 30 seconds to read it. Very good morning to all. I hope all of you can see and hear me clearly. Right, थोड़ा सा मुझे comments जो है, the comments are a little bit far off from my screen, so I'm actually taking it a little bit closer to myself so that I can read it clearly. Everybody is reading it, I hope, and as I was telling you, all of you can see the questions which I have given you here. They are taken from ZAT 2010, right? So if you notice, the questions are like, not very easy, but the passage is what is important. Okay, so good morning everybody. People are slowly joining in. I hope you can see and hear me clearly, right? So ZAT 2010 के questions है. And by the way, some of you have taken the exam ZAT would know that ZAT के जो passages है, ZAT के जो questions है, they are in fact a little bit more difficult than even CAT. So let's see. Everybody is reading it, I hope. One key element of Kantian ethics. What is Kantian? If you notice, right, it is taken IAN, एक adjective बन गया. So it is taken from a name, a person called Immanuel Kant, a philosopher. So it means ethics basically is morality, what is right or what is wrong. So one key element of Kantian ethics, meaning according to Kant morality जो है, morality according to Kant is the idea that the moral worth of any action relies entirely on the motivation of the agent. So philosophy है. So the moral worth किसी action का morality depends on the motivation. मतलब क्या सोच के करते हैं, ठीक है. So human behavior cannot be good or bad in light of the consequences. In light of basically means keeping in mind, in view of. So it is not the consequences which decide whether an action is good or bad. It is what motivates you to do it, right? So, and to prove this point, he introduces the key concept of duty to clarify the rational underpinning. What is underpinning? Anybody, what is the meaning of underpinning? Underpinning is nothing else but the background, the foundation, what lies beneath, right? So Harsh, you thought Kant is Indian? No, he is a, you can call him, more like a German कह सकते हो, right? Because at that time the country was not born when he was there, but then you can call him somebody of that area. So underpinning क्या होता है? Underpinning is what lies beneath, ठीक है. So here it means rational underpinning of his theory, मतलब the rational background. Underpin मतलब नीचे क्या है, support क्या कर रहा है नीचे से. So that way it means foundation or background, something like that. ठीक है, clear I hope. So the key concept of duty to clarify the rational underpinning of his moral theory by analyzing different types of. So he is telling you that motivation is basically what decides whether an action is good or bad, not the consequence, right? So then to prove his point, he tells you, the key concept of, his key concept of analyzing the different types of motivation. What is the first type of motivation? The first type of motivation is individual commit actions that are really undertaken for the sake of duty itself, right? Meaning they do it because it is a duty, because the agent thinks they are the right thing to do. This is the ideal thing. They do it because it's the right thing to do. No consideration of purpose of the action matters, but only whether the action respects. So एक्शन क्यों किया जा रहा है वो कोई नहीं सोचता. पीपल डू इट बिकॉज इट रिप्रेजेंट्स अ सर्टेन लॉ, अ सर्टेन रूल, अ सर्टेन मॉरल कोड दैट पीपल हैव टू फॉलो. दिस इज द फर्स्ट रूल. एवरीबडी अंडरस्टूड? आई होप everybody has read it. So he is telling you what motivates human beings to perform an action, and the first motivation is what? Sense of duty, right? We do not stop to think इससे क्या होगा, क्या खराब होगा, नहीं. We take it up because it is something like an obligation. So this is the first motivation. Everybody has read it so far, I think. So yes, moral, because of morality, because of a certain moral code. Everybody has read it, I hope. Next is, this is the second form of motivation. What is the second form of motivation? The second form of motivation, you can read, it originates from immediate inclination. Read it for 20-30 seconds, then we will discuss it. Right? I hope everybody is reading it. So, just to confirm what was the author saying, right? Actions are not right or wrong based on the consequences, but based on the motivation behind it. The first and the right kind of motivation is doing something because we think it is the right thing to do, for a sense of duty, for a sense of morality. That's the first motivation. Second motivation is what is explaining here. Okay, so read carefully. ठीक है, all clear? I hope everybody is clear so far, right? And ये भी philosophy ही है, but then if you notice, philosophy इतना भी hardcore, इतना, it's not that it is beyond understanding. You can somehow make sense. Everybody is read it, I hope. Another form of action originates from immediate inclination. What is inclination? Inclination is your liking. So the second motivation is not because of morality, what is right or wrong, वो नहीं, but मुझे क्या पसंद है, मेरे interests. ठीक है, so I hope everybody is reading it, सबको समझ में आ रहा है. So this is the second motivation. So everybody has inclinations, जैसे to preserve one's life, to preserve honor. So he is saying that ये भी duty है, right? ऐसा नहीं कि ये मतलब ये भी एक morality या for their own sake इसमें भी एक उसूल है, right? But they are different from morality or duty as such, right? Now, but acting according to the maxim. What is maxim? Maxim is almost like a rule. ठीक है, maxim is a rule. You can even call it a proverb also, right? So it's like a short rule, a short saying which presents. It's like a rule or a precept भी बोलते हैं, right? So it's an idea that most people agree with. So but acting according to the maxim that these inclinations might suggest, right, such as taking care of one's health. So जब हम अपने health का take care करते हैं तो duty की sense से नहीं करते अपने लिए. It's because of our inclination, right? So he says that it lacks for Kant true moral worth. So inclination के लिए, to be motivated by inclination is something which is lesser than moral worth, because you do the action not because you think it is right, but because it's a interest, right? So then he gives you an example, right? So Meena, it's not about just helping others, not just helping other. Moral value is not just helping others. ये तो example यहाँ बता रहा है. Moral, किसी भी action को हम क्यों करते हैं, एक reason है बिकॉज वो सही है, हमें लगता है कि वो सही है. वो पहला रीजन है, जो सबसे अच्छा रीजन है मोरालिटी. दूसरा रीजन हमारे इंटरेस्ट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ देखो, चैरिटेबल पर्सन कौन है? somebody who helps others, right? He donates some goods to poor people, right? Following her inclination to help others, right? That is, she enjoys helping the others. ध्यान से देखो, यहाँ पे मेरे पास पैसे है, मैं कुछ लोगों को हेल्प कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन मैं मोरालिटी सही गलत इसके लिए नहीं कर रहा हूं, बस मुझे अच्छा लगता है. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू कांट ये मॉरल नहीं है, और ये मॉरल मोटिवेशन से थोड़ा कम है. ठीक, गलत सही की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, बट ही सेइंग दैट इट इज अ लिटिल बिट लेस देन दिस, राइट? सो ही डज नॉट कंसिडर इट एज अ मॉरल मोटिवेशन इवन इफ द एक्शन इज इन कन्फॉर्मिटी विद ड्यूटी. कन्फॉर्मिटी मीन्स in sync with, not against, right? According to, when you conform, right, in conformity with duty मतलब duty के हिसाब से, right? In terms with duty. ठीक है? So everybody is clear, I hope, right? So Meena, moral value is not just about helping others. Moral value, according to Kant, is basically ethics. What guides you as to what is right or wrong, which is different from the second type of motivation. The second type of motivation is inclination or your interest. For example, the man helping others because he likes it. It is not moral motivation. It is basically nothing else but interest. And he considers it lower than morality. Even though it may be in conformity with duty, it is not against morality, but it is different from morality. Everybody is clear with this, I hope, right? So the person acting from duty would in fact donate to the other because she recognizes that helping. So what is telling you is that if you help people, you can help because you want to do it out of interest. That's a second motivation. The first motivation, the ideal motivation is, right, The ideal motivation is, not interest, rather interest as in Meena, interest as in because of your liking. What is inclination? Inclination is your liking. So when I say interest, in the word interest has two meanings. एक है because of something that benefits me, but my interests as in my hobbies and interests, so it is because of liking. The second motivation is liking. ठीक है. Munawar, conformity basically means, conformity is in sync with. So if I say what you are doing is in conformity with duty, that means it is in sync with, it is as per duty. ठीक है, right? So in the last line he tells you, if you help others because of your liking, it is not morality. You should actually help others because you think it is the right thing to do. Okay, so he has given you so far two kinds of motivation. The first kind of motivation is the moral motivation. The second kind of motivation is because of interest, right? Because of these two motivations, two people may perform the same action, right? So the same action, you cannot call it moral because it depends on the motivation. Okay, right? So moral value is all about ethics. Yes, moral value. Moral value is what is right, what is wrong, right? What is right, what is wrong. Okay, that is according to that. So if I give you an example, suppose I donate 1,000 rupees to flood victims. Why? Because I felt very bad. I think it is, as a human being, I should help. Right? Another person donates 3 crore rupees. Let's say Akshay Kumar donates 3 crore rupees. Right? But he donates it because he has money and he likes doing it. Right? So according to Kant, which is better? According to Kant, which is better? According to Kant, the second one is less than the first one. Okay, getting the point? So if you notice, in both the actions, people are donating, right? But in the first act of donation, the person is donating because he thinks it is humanity, it is the right thing to do. In the second, the person donates because he likes donating. Getting the point? Right. So that is what we can look at. Third point is this. Okay, right. Okay, Abhilash Mishra, can I prepare for SNAP 2000? Yes, why not? The thing is, the only thing is when you look at an exam like SNAP, right, focus more on vocabulary and grammar, right? Grammar or vocabulary, बहुत पूछते हैं, so you need to be focusing more on that. Parajumbles तो पूछते ही है, right? So critical reasoning, parajumbles, grammar based questions, vocabulary based questions. So that is what is the case. Everybody understood, I think, right? So if you notice, so abhi tak you have discussed two types of motivation. The third type of motivation is what is explaining here. Let's quickly read this and see. Right, 30 seconds. Right. So what is the third type of motivation? If you notice, the third type of motivation is not because of morality, right, but as a means to some further end. Means basically means as a way to achieve something, right? So if you notice, the third thing is the person takes up an action, right, because he is motivated by, he wants to achieve something else. Okay, are you getting the point? So three types of motivation. The first motivation is because it is the right thing to do. Second type of motivation is because it's my hobby, I like doing it. Third type of motivation for an action is basically because by doing that you want something in return. You want to achieve something. Okay. For this he gives you an example. Just look at it. What example does he give? Right. Kant provides the following example. What is the example? A shopkeeper who does not overcharge the inexperienced customer and treats all customer in the certain ways, doing the right thing. So, देखो, एक shopkeeper है, right? Not always. A shopkeeper does not overcharge an inexperienced customer. He treats every shopkeeper, every customer in the same way, right? अगर एक नया customer आता है तो he does not take more from him, right? Is it because he thinks he is doing the right thing? Probably not. Is he doing because it is because of interest? No. The shopkeeper is doing, right. So we cannot say that he is moved by the basic principles of honesty. No, he's not doing it because he's feeling honesty. It is his advantage that requires it. What does it mean? It means the shopkeeper is treating everybody, charging the same from everybody because he wants his customers to buy from him. He does not want to chase away his customers. So here the action of the good act is actually done with a certain, objective in mind to achieve something else. So this is the third motivation, right? So it is not inclination also, it is not because of morality, right? So if you notice, his action was done neither from duty nor from inclination, but for the purpose of self-interest. So there are three sense of motivation. First motivation is actual morality. Second is basically because you like it, right? Inclination. And third is because of self-interest, because you want to achieve something else, right? Everybody has read it, I hope. Now let's try to answer the questions. Three ways should be able to do it very easily. So first question is this. I'll give you time, right? Do not worry. And the moment you feel, what is the answer, you will take probably around a minute to read this and understand, right? And to answer the question, mark the options. There are A, B, C, D, 5 options. ZAP mein hamesha they ask you 5 options. And CAT also used to ask you 5 options. 5 options actually make the paper a little bit more difficult. Read it carefully. So he gives you 2 actions, right? So 2 actions, so you're going to apply it and find out what is the answer. So Danish thinks the answer is C. That is option 1 and 2. Okay, what about others? Danish ko lag raha hai C hai answer. Let's see, what are the 2 actions? Let's read it and see. Red Cross, so volunteer. There is a person who donates blood every year thanks to an anonymous donor who saved the life of his mother some time back. So the person is donating for a motivation, not because it is right or wrong. If he donated because it is right or wrong, he would have donated it anyway, even before the mother was saved. So the person is doing this because he wants to give back to somebody who helped him. That means it is because of self-interest, right? Because of a self-interest. Now, a volunteer organization which conducts regular blood camps in order to improve its legitimacy. Legitimacy basically means they want people to accept, right? So self-interest, if you notice, therefore the source of motivation for both is the same, self-interest. Both of them want to achieve something. This is the third motivation according to the author. So 1 to hai hi, right? So many are saying only B. B kya hai? B is option 2. Now if you notice 2 to hai hi, the answer should be options 1 and 2, right? 3, I think everybody will eliminate. Both examples illustrate the concept of moral. Moral to nahi hai, right? If you notice, go according to the author, right? So go according to Kant, there are 3 motivations. One motivation is duty, morality, right or wrong, the best one. The second one is because I enjoy doing it. The third one is because I want to achieve something, because I have a certain self-interest in it, right? It is because of my own swarth ke liye, right? Now if you notice, first one wahi to hai, the person is donating because he saved his mother was saved by somebody, right? That means he wants to pay back, so he is serving his own purpose. So that is basically nothing else, but he has an objective to achieve, which is the same as the objective, right? So both have objectives. So the best answer is 1 and 2, right? Everybody understood this? Many of you marked B. In fact, Vishnu, Meena and Munawar marked B. B, 2 to hai hi, right? But 1 is also the answer. Is it clear? The source of motivation is the same. There are 3 types of motivation. Both of them falls under the third type. Is this clear, everybody? Yes, I hope. All clear, I think. Meena, source motivation is different for 1 and 2. Tell me how different are they? Tell me how different are they? Right, go by what we just read. There are 3 types of motivation. Right, there are 3 types of motivation. One motivation is what is right or what is wrong. Right. Second motivation is because you enjoy doing it, you like doing it. Third is because you want to achieve something by doing it. Okay. If you look at both, it is the third. The person who is donating because his mother was saved by somebody else, he wants to pay back to the person who saved the mother. That means he wants to achieve something. So that's the third thing. Okay. Everybody is clear with this, I hope. Yes. Okay. So it belongs to the same category. Okay. So the source of motivation is basically the same. The actions are different, of course, but the source is the same. All clear, I hope. Right. Let's try the next question. Which of the following inferences would be against the ideas in the passage? Right. This is something which I should tell you can be very easily answered if you read a certain part. As I told you, right, कुछ चीजों में कुछ cases में, in many cases you will have to basically go against the ideas, means it would be something which is the opposite of what is given in the passage. Right. Now if you notice, try it out and see. Right. First statement, read the first statement. This will help you a lot in interpreting the statement. Kantian ethics considers the moral worth of an inclination on the basis of its consequence. Kant, does he consider the moral worth of an inclination on the basis of its consequence? In option 1, there are 2 words which I disagree with. Right. The moral worth of an inclination nahi and consequence nahi. The moral worth, if you notice, Kant, right, considers the moral worth of an action, right. So it considers the moral worth of an action, inclination nahi. Okay. So one word is wrong. It cannot be inclination, the worth of an action, and it is considered not on the basis of its consequence but the motivation behind it. So one is wrong. I helped you eliminate one. Everybody agrees, right? Now Kaushal, Prasanna and Meena, 3 are saying E. What about the others? E is option 2 and 3. Let's see. Right. There's another option which is option only 2 also. Let's see. Actions motivated by the inclination lacks moral worth. Yes, right. Inclination is the second motivation. According to him, there are 3 motivations, 1, 2 and 3. Right. And 2 lacks. So that is, inclination is something which lacks moral worth. You can find this very clearly here. You can easily find it here. Right. So if you notice, right. So inclination, another form originates from inclination. And if you notice, right. So so he does not consider it a moral or motivation. So he considers it something that is lower than that. Okay. So these are also duties, right? But these inclinations, so inclinations lack for Kant true moral worth. It is given directly there, right? So 2 to hai. What about 3? Right? What about Danish? A बिल्कुल नहीं है. A मैंने eliminate कर दिया. इंक्लिनेशन की जगह यहाँ एक्शन होना चाहिए था और यहाँ कॉन्सिक्वेंस की जगह मोटिवेशन होना चाहिए था. सो दिस इज बेसिकली देयर आर 2 प्रॉब्लम्स इन दिस. ठीक है. Second one is true so far. What about the third one? So answer, elements of moral obligation reduce the moral worth of a duty. Acha, does moral obligation reduce the moral worth? Can morality reduce the moral worth of a duty? No, moral obligation cannot reduce the moral worth. Right. If you notice, morality जो सबसे पहले होता है, right? Interest, in the sense that, you know, your liking, right? Inclination can reduce, but morality itself cannot reduce. Can moral obligation reduce the moral worth? No. So the answer should be only 2. The answer should be only 2. Right. This basically means you did not, you know. Okay, 1 second. Sorry. Munawar against right. Okay, sorry. मैंने तो right ही कर दिया. अच्छा, would be against the ideas. Okay, that means option 2 is in relation, right? Okay, one second. So Kantian ethics considers the moral worth of an inclination on the basis of its consequence, right? If you notice, okay, against देखना है, let's see. Right, so actions motivated by an inclination of an individual lacks moral worth. So actions motivated by the inclination of an individual lacks moral worth. So inclination does not lack moral worth, right? But yes. So one second, sorry. So is there an option which says 1 and 3? Okay. Actions motivated by the inclination lacks moral worth. So यहाँ उल्टा होना चाहिए सर. So 2 तो definitely है ही. So 2 होना. Okay. One second. Right. So question is against it. So against it में if you notice, ध्यान से देखो, मैंने गलत कर दिया. ठीक है. So let's see. Action motivated by the inclination. So that means 2 is correct, right? Actions motivated by the inclination lacks moral worth. So 1 and 3 होना चाहिए, right? Is there an option which is 1 and 3? Is there an option which is 1 and 3? So that means there is a problem here. It should be 1 and 3, right? It should be 1 and 3 only. So there is a printing mistake. So anyway, so against the ideas है, तो actions motivated by the inclination lacks moral worth. So this is something, ये तो true है. So this cannot be the answer. Now इसमें एक चीज देखते हैं, राइट? एलिमेंट्स ऑफ moral obligation reduces the moral worth of a duty. 1 and 3 में एक चीज देखते हैं, एक चीज देखो, 2 eliminate कर दिया, but let's also try one thing. Is it 1 and 3 may be wrong, but is it against, right? If you notice, Kantian ethics considers the moral worth of an inclination on the basis of its consequence, not on the basis of its consequence, but on the basis of the motivation. So ये भी against ही है. So I should actually look at something like 1 and 3. ठीक है. None of the options contain 1 and 3, so the answer should be basically 1 and 3. Clear? ठीक है. Right. Let's move on. This is the next passage. ठीक है. Good. So somebody pointed out. Otherwise, I was going, going according to what is true as per the passage. Against the ideas should be 1 and 3. ठीक है. Right. चलो. Let's try the next passage. This is the passage, and if you notice, the two questions are which would be the best title of the passage and central idea. So you can do this by elimination also very easily. Let's see. I hope everybody is reading it. This we can read together also. Fashion is different from custom, or rather is a particular species of it. So he's saying fashion is a subset of custom, or rather different, right? So this is not the fashion which everybody wears, but those wear are of a high rank or high character. So he is speaking about the kind of dress which is worn by people of high rank or high character. By rank here he means superior people of better character, right? And the graceful and the easy, these are all qualities of this high ranking people, right? The commanding manners of the great joined to the usual richness and magnificence. Magnificence means excellence of the dress. So it's like the person who is great, who has great character, who is of superior quality, right? When they choose to wear the dress, right, it gives a grace to the very form upon which they bestow upon. Bestow basically means to grant or give. In short, if a person of a superior quality and superior characters wears a good dress, the dress seems to be even greater. Okay, everybody is reading it, I hope. As long as they continue to use this form as in the way they carry themselves, it is connected, or rather here the form which they give to the dress, right? So the idea of something that is genteel and magnificent. What is genteel? Superior, aristocratic, right? Birth, right? So something that is gentle and magnificent, and though in itself it should be indifferent, it seems on account of this relation to have something that is gentle. So that way, what this author is telling you is that the quality of the person who is wearing the dress is also granted to the dress that they wear. Okay? So as soon as they drop it, as soon as the people drop it, everything is lost. Okay? And if somebody who is inferior wears it, the dress, the same dress, starts looking inferior. So this is what is the idea. Everybody's got it, I hope, right? Nothing very difficult, right? So this is rather easy. What phrase would be the best title of the passage? Eliminate karke dekho, right? Now if you notice the word proliterate, proliterate basically means working class. Proliterate means working class. Working class, labor class, laborer class जो है, working class fashion models and fashion shows. This I will eliminate. Is it the title? Is it the fashion show, fashion model? तो बिल्कुल नहीं है, right? ठीक है. What should be the answer? What is scourge? Scourge basically means something like anything that brings a lot of suffering, like something that is like a curse. Scourge का actual meaning क्या होता है? It's एक whip होता है, जिसको हिंदी में you call it hunter. It's a whip that is used to beat people, right? It is made of leather and it can actually cause severe injuries when it is used. That is called a scourge, right? And if I use it symbolically, scourge means anything that causes suffering, in short a curse. So are you speaking about the curse of fashion? So this also I have eliminated. So Janvi and Meena and Prasanna think yes, the answer is C. The clothes. Okay, is it C? The clothes maketh the man, or the man maketh the cloth? If you're saying the answer is C, you are getting the opposite. What did you read? If a superior person wears a dress, the dress becomes superior. If the person drops the dress, that quality is lost. And if another person who is of an inferior quality wears the same dress becomes inferior. So is it the cloth that is making the man, or is it the man that is making the cloth? Answer is not C, it is D. The man maketh the cloth. Understood? Janvi, Meena, Prasanna and Kaushal, did you understand now? So it is the other way around. That's what I was, if you notice, a person of superior quality, he gives superior quality to the dress that he wears. If he drops the dress becomes useless. If somebody inferior wears the same dress becomes inferior. So that is basically D. Everybody is clear with this, I hope. Now, suitable title, okay, ho gaya. So which is nearest to the central idea in the passage? So what should be the best answer? Right, everybody got it, I think. Right, so now let's try this question. This will take you probably another 30 seconds. Central idea. Now, if you are confused, eliminate. So, Siddharth Tiwari thinks the answer is E. What about others? Nobody is replying. Okay, so Kaushal Gupta also thinks answer is E. Right, let's see. If you notice, eliminate karke chalo. Fashion improves the grace of a person. No, fashion is in fact, it's the other way around, right? The person, the quality or the grace of that person is something which, and the quality of that person, it actually improves fashion. So it is basically something which can be intimated. Grace is indicated by the fashion. No, grace is indicated by the person's quality only. So this also we can eliminate, right? So everybody is marking E. Yes, E is the correct answer. Grace is a reflection of the person's rank or character. So it's the actual person's quality that is the source of everything good, right? So that is what we can look at, right? Now, if you notice, even eliminate C, imaginative persons, imaginative to hum baat hi nahi kar rahe. The contemporary nature of fashion portrays the society. contemporary means what is happening nowadays, so this is also not the case. Okay, so we have done 4 questions. So with that we come to the end of the session today. Tomorrow I will meet you again with another article. So let's see, from time to time we should try questions like this, right? And that way it will help us align ourselves with the right path to preparation, right? So with that we come to the end of the session, and these are some information, upcoming batches which are coming up in June, you can see, right? So that is for you to, that's for your own benefit, and all of you know that this is all based on, Gradeup Super subscriptions. These are the teachers who will be taking your classes, right? And something, your super subscription plans are understandably divided into 2 broad categories. One is based on the target year 2021, the other is based on the target year 2022. Understandably, because some people would like to go a little bit longer, some people would like to probably finish a little bit earlier. So depending on that, we have 2 separate choices for you. And I hope all of you also know about this. If you subscribe to Gradeup Super, for the period of your subscription, you will get free internet, right? And be sure to attempt to take this mega mock challenge, which is going to be live. It's already live, 26th to 28th June, and this will help you measure your performance. It will help you calibrate your performance and your preparation vis-a-vis other people who are preparing for the same exam. So do not forget to like and share the session. We come to the end of the session. See you again tomorrow.